as she proceeds to give you what you need. ToniSteelz, baby. She's here, baby.
You did the whole Spike Lee, do the right thing.
Did I really?
Wow, absolutely, you sure did.
There's some jazz music.
The hat and everything, like glasses, the hat. Where was that from? Do the right thing.
Yeah.
When he's in front of the camera. Is that Do the Right Thing? We're back with another episode of Girl. We're back for part 2 with Eurila of Everyday BK.
Thank you, lady.
Thank you for being here.
This is very exciting. I appreciate the energy.
We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you
For
very much.
those who don't know, Luna and I came together because of Eurila. So it's an honor and a pleasure to have her as our first guest here on Girl Podcast Season 2.
Just makes sense, right?
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Fair.
Yeah. Earlier, as y'all can see, we sitting here eating our grilled cheese, peanut butter and jelly. Ooh.
They're like, who, what?
Sandwich.
Say what, huh?
So if you
And it even tastes good cold.
Listen, I taste the coconut in this one. I don't know, like, yeah.
More so.
If you missed the first half, go back and watch it so that you know exactly the ingredients in this peanut butter and jelly and grilled cheese sandwich. It's for the street, y'all. It's good. Girl Podcast, definitely. We support it. For real.
It can be found in my cookbook, Shoot, Taste, Explore. An explorer's guide to food, photography, and Brooklyn. It's a recipe book for people who like to cook. It's a photography workbook for people who like to take pictures. And it's a micro resource guide for Brooklyn businesses and places to shoot.
Say the name again.
Shoot, Taste, Explore. Shoot, Taste, Explore. If you go on Amazon, you can search that. You could also go to everydaybk.tv/merch with a capital M. And it's there. And those will be signed by me. The ones on Amazon are not signed by me.
I love that. Dope title. It just pretty much embodies everything about who you are. You as a photographer, videographer, cook, chef, right?
Yep.
And your fellow Brooklynite. My fellow Brooklynite.
Exactly.
Who be outside. Exploring.
Yes, yes.
You know? And enjoying all that life have to offer.
You also have you're a survivor, right?
Oh, of many things, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where do we start?
Tony and I just recently came off of talking about breast cancer awareness, and we know you have your own survival story.
I do. We are surviving right now, thriving, you know, wonderfully.
You know what? I wish they would change, It's not just a survivor, it's a thriver. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you keep living.
I think we could upgrade that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about wording, right? You know, what you say.
Very important. Breast cancer, just to be clear, because it wasn't really discussed, that it was first a carcinoma and what they call inductal. It was inductal invasive, or an invasive, some language that basically said it was an adduct. Radical cells, you know, they do their thing and they start. It was hardening, right? It was something that I could see. So it was like it was like a calcified stone, almost, you know, just a knot. I used to call it a chickpea because that's what it felt like and that's what it looked like. And I'd be like, I'm going to heal myself. I am. I know how this works. I know what it's for. And years passed, you know, and at some point I was just like, I'm tired of looking at this thing. Let me go. Because it's not bothering nobody or nothing, right? My health is great. I'm active. I'm living life. Life is good. My only thing's happening is my blood pressure's high. So everybody's like, you got to get that down. So we go to the doctor to get the blood pressure down. And they're just like, I'm like, all right, I got to get this lump taken off. And they were like, we can't just take it off. We have to give you a biopsy. And I was like, I don't want a biopsy. I know what y'all gonna tell me if y'all biopsy it. Trust me. Yeah, I don't feel like dealing with that. Just take it out. And they were like, it doesn't work like that. And I'm like, fine, let them biopsy. And they were like, unfortunately, I was like, listen, don't unfortunately me. You don't know what this is doing for my life. Okay? You are telling me what? And what's the next step? Okay, I'll talk to Dr. B next week. No problem, thank you. Cried a little bit because I was just like, oh my God, what? Oh, you never want to actually hear that. But I was just like, well, like everything else, you kind of have to, you got to deal with it. You said you wanted it taken out, so just go with it, right? And so I had a meeting with a breast surgeon, and she's just like, so what can we do for you? How are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm great. I'm here to learn. I'm here to understand what we're doing here. And, you know, I would love to hear what you suggest. That does not mean I'm going to do it because I'm very hard-headed and I'm very stubborn. And she was just like, okay, a full mastectomy, which requires us to remove the nipple. And she's explaining me to this whole thing. And then after that, you take some estrogen suppression drugs, and you probably going to have to wear a sleeve because it's so... you know, so many lymph nodes is removed at this point that, you know, you're gonna have swelling, and usually, and she's giving me all of this stuff, and I was just like, interesting. And she was like, tell me what you're feeling, and I was just like, I'm not doing all that. And so she was just like, what would you like to do? I was just like, well, my nipple is fine. I was like, and it's so far from the whole point of what you've been talking about. And I was like, unless you can tell me with some definitiveness that it is not already there, I'm not going to let you do that. I was just like, we're going to take it out.
So this, at this
And I'm
point,
moving
this was
on.
just a speculation? They wasn't sure? Like you didn't have the diagnosis?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That came with the phone call. That was in the biopsy that I didn't want to do. After the discussion, she goes, well, you know, we have a plastic surgeon. The plastic surgeon says that you can do it. We'll do the surgery. And then we'll leave it alone because that's your choice. And I was just like, all right, bet. So they tried to get me to see a radiologist and chemotherapy lady and all this other stuff. And I was like, I'm not doing none of that. We're gonna do the surgery, and I'm leaving, and you're leaving me alone. And so we did the surgery, and they left me alone, right? And then like 2 weeks later, my back is on fire. I don't know why. I couldn't sit, stand, nothing. All of this on fire. And I was like, it has to have to do with the anesthesia, because every time I'm in the hospital and I have to go on, I come out crazy. And so this is speculation. This is not proven. Don't sue me, but that's my thoughts about it. So I leave there because of another thing. Like at the same hospital for the breast care was the doctor that I was going to, and their attention to me was weird, right? So I was like, I don't care to even find out why y'all was weird. I'm just gonna go get another opinion. Also make sure I didn't have to go through any of this in the first place. And so my godmother's sister also had breast cancer, and she was telling me to go to her doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And so I was like, all right, the most that could happen is, you know, they tell me, I don't know. Like, I had no idea it could go anywhere. So, but I'm researching it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's in my spine, it's in my back, it gotta be. And I get PET scans and CT scans, the whole thing, and they were like, I had a spine full of tumors.
Oh wow.
I know, exactly. In my spine. And the recourse was to do radiation therapy and take drugs, right? And I was just like, I'm not doing the drugs. I'm not, leave me alone about the drugs. I'll do the radiation, but no drugs. And they were like, well, you gotta have drugs because you gotta have pain.
Yo, it's so
You gotta have
ironic.
pain.
It's so ironic. They're talking about you need drugs to, you know, but of course, you know, that war on drugs is crazy because this is what they're pushing now. This is what they're pushing people to take.
They put me on a steroid drug that I tried to stop taking, and when I tell you, it felt like the worst flu ever, coupled with the worst injuries you could have. Like whatever's wrong with your body is like, I couldn't lift my head off my pillow because it felt like my whole skull was detaching from my. It was horrible, and
Due to the medication.
yes, because of the steroids. So because of the pain, that's what they had to do. So it wasn't even that the treatment required that, but because I was in so much pain, that was what they decided to do. And I let them do it because I didn't want to go home. Like that was completely my fault. Like it was hurting. Yes. So when they presented me, so it was a really long workup situation where I was in this emergency room for hours with different doctors coming to visit me. for them to like work through all that they found and see what they were gonna do about it. So it was like there was tumors here in my hip bone, like with your femur connects. There was tumors in your spine, and then like my neck. And so all of these doctors have different parts of your body. So the leg guy comes and he's just like, okay, it's not that bad. You'll be all right. We just radiate that. You'll be good. You don't need surgery. So I'm leaving.
Just radiate that.
Right. And so I'm like, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want radiation. I didn't want the drugs. I didn't want nothing. I was just like, but the way the pain was going, I was like, would any of this help it not hurt? Because if you tell me that it could help that, I will do it, because this is how bad it hurts. And I cannot live on ibuprofen. Like, that's just don't make sense to me. And so I eventually did the radiation and opted to stay in the hospital because I didn't want to go home, right? I was looking at it like, I need a break from everything. And I just looked at it as a vacation because they were feeding me shrimp scampi and chocolate cake. I was like, yo, I could live here. And there's salad if I feel like it. In the morning, there's bagels. It was the best. And I was just like, oh, and everybody's so sweet in the emergency room. Go upstairs, and it's a totally different story. They set me next to this lady. She was mean. She was racist. She was causing trouble. She would talk in her sleep. She had Trump on the TV loud. I was there for 3 days with her, 3.5 days with her. And I was just like, if y'all don't get me out this room with this lady, I was like, this is not what you do to care for people. It was horrible. Every couple of hours, they was coming in, poking me and drawing blood and just for your vitals. Not like I you can't tell people what you need, right? So I went through that. And then it's Tuesday. They're like, we got to biopsy your back. And I was just like, y'all already know what it is. Let's just act like it is. I don't want to biopsy. Y'all already told me what you know. Okay, I trust you. Let's just do the thing because I'm tired of this. And they're like, no, we got to biopsy it. And I'm like, you ain't got time because I'm leaving. If you don't figure it out in the next 5 days, that'll be it. I'm out. And I left on Tuesday. Didn't want to take the drugs. Oh my gosh, that was the worst thing ever. Because I was sick at home now. And then I was, my partner was like, you please, you scaring the kids. Take the damn drugs, please. And I was just like, fine. And then, because I had to keep taking them. And so I wind up going, it's just a long story. I wind up going to Queen of Four's house in Atlanta. Fresh off the drugs. Like, if I got out of the hospital, okay, so all of this started on the 13th of July. I was out by the 17th. I was at Queen of Four's house on the 30th or the 31st. Yeah, the 31st, which was my mother's birthday, I remember. And was there with her for 3 days. And so, like, new drugs in my system. I had lost a whole bunch of weight because I thought I could eat it away by just eating a bunch of vegetables. Like, I'm gonna piss it out. I'm gonna piss it out. And so I was skinny. I was like weak because I was strictly vegan, like vegan. No plan. Yeah, like. No sugar either. I just knew that, like, white sugar, forget about it. No. But that was a lot of denial. That was a lot of running, because eventually what would happen is I conceded or surrendered and took the drugs, did the radiation, did all the things, and was just like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. That was actually very necessary, and I kind of wish I did that sooner. Like, and then not come, stay in the hospital. Because that altered my perception of what kind of care I was receiving in the first place. When I was probably strong enough to travel back and forth for 5 days, and that would have been it. Like, I would have been this much, or I would have been a lot further in my healing physically had I done it all earlier. But yeah.
What was the reason that you, in the beginning, initially, you didn't want to do, you just wanted to do the surgery?
Well, I didn't want to believe that it was cancer. Right? Cancer is reserved for other people. People who don't know their bodies as well as I do. people who don't handle stress as well as I do, people who eat poorly, unlike myself. So that couldn't have been it, right? No. This is a bruise. This is from that fight, or that I got hit with a paintball there 20 years ago, or just all kinds of reasons that didn't
He's in denial.
mean that I couldn't handle it myself. That was mostly it, being able to handle it. And I'm also gonna insert the upbringing that I had. So my dad was very much anti-Western medicine. There's a herb for that. Get this ginger ale and this clove of garlic, cut an onion, put it on your foot, kind of healer, which
I'm old school like that.
went through my life.
Same.
We are, and I feel like it has its moments, or had its moment, because if you just look at cars, look at roads, look at how we get around, everything's changed, everything's improved. So
I don't know.
what are the odds that...
No, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, what are the odds that the drugs aren't improving too? Like, I used to think everybody was out to kill us until...
Of course the drugs is going to improve.
Well, if it's
But I
keeping
think
me
herbs and
alive,
stuff, they still say the same.
But can you remember like the laundry list of side effects that they usually list in these, on these medications? Like they have.
Oh, no, I can't, because I don't remember them.
But no, I'm saying like the fact that it's such a laundry list compared to what it's supposed to help.
Oh, yeah. Pages.
That's bad. I agree to an extent that, modern medicine has some benefits. Some. But I don't know, like the radiation process seems counterintuitive to me. It's like you're damaging all the cells, good and bad, right? So how is the good supposed to fight if it's being killed off too? Like that never
Oh, well, as someone who experienced it, they grow back. So like new cells grow.
Right.
And that's it. But if you, take like a cup, and you have what's in here and you don't pour it out, it's still in there. So whatever you put inside of it is still on top of that. So new cells growing on top of cells that need to not be there is just going to create more madness there.
Right. The issue is when you're going through something like that, your immunity is so low.
Yeah.
You're so open to catching things. And it's to say that, hopefully the process of growing new cells is quick, but sometimes it's not quick enough for people. What was the healing process for you like? Like what did you do overall that made yourself feel the best, like during stages?
What stage were you in?
Eating. Get my strength back, going to the gym, exercising, being on that treadmill. When I released the control part and felt like if I trust God, like I say I do, then I can't take a pill that's wrong for me. I can't eat a thing that's wrong for me. Nothing that I do is going to be wrong for me because God gave it to me. And if God want me to be sick and dying, that's what I'm going to go through. And I was ready for it all because I didn't like the pain. The pain was definitely some motivation in deciding that it's either do this by yourself and be bowled over all the time, like literally fragile. Like my bones, also because I wasn't eating properly, weren't the strongest. So I was in a car accident and I didn't have a lot of pain, but I had bruising, which typically would not have happened if I was just like not sort of in that bruisable position. I don't know what it's actually called, like medically, where you're just not healthy. Like you're lacking vitamin B, your flesh is just weak, I guess. So any impact to it is harder to you than it would be normally. if you had more strength, more muscle, whatever, just more mass on your body. So that is what prompted me, and that's what made me feel the best, was just recovering from that because I decided to. Like initially I was like, oh my gosh, I don't like being this size. Like I could fit everything looks great, but I don't feel good. And then I was like, the only thing I could do to know that this is not cancer related, because that was another thing, stressing out thinking that I was losing weight because of the cancer, like I couldn't gain weight if I tried, and them telling me, well, you might gain weight or you might not, you might stay the same size. We really can't say, because these drugs don't do that. Like they haven't, like all of the research that we do, that's part of the things that don't bother people, the weight of it. Like you might have some other symptoms, but all of the possibilities are presented to you because we don't know which ones of these, if any of these at all, are going to affect you, but we have to tell you. So about the laundry list that you mentioned earlier, I was thinking you can laundry list any and everything if you want to.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily less or more or less harmful, more than it is just information. And then I do believe it is still marketing, where it's coaching people to trust the people giving it to them. So, like, you wouldn't lie to me, would you? You know,
part.
you still got to do your own research. I did my own research on all of the products. Like, I didn't just take things blindly. I was a bitch, and they knew that. They hated to see me coming, because I was just like, what now? What is this for? Why? How often? What is it called? What happens if I miss it? What happens if I take too much? Like, I was very present with myself, and they would be like, listen, we understand that you are scared, but you don't have to be. Like, all the fear that you have it's not worth risking more of what is going to happen if you don't do anything. And the only thing we can tell you is we can't do anything about it once it's that bad. Like, if you stop it now, then you have a chance to not have to deal with this for the rest of your life. But if you don't, you're definitely going to have to. And then that'll be up to you to figure out. Like, take this thing down, be okay. Don't take it now, don't be okay. But that ain't got nothing to do with us. Like, we're going to be here for people who want here. And you got to decide if you want it. And that was it. And I was just like, all right, fine. And then I held everybody around me responsible. Like, okay, remember that y'all made me do this. So if it don't work, this is on you. But I know, you can't blame people. I really was just like, I don't like the pain. A year ago now is when I had this accident with hitting a deer on my freaking way from a camping trip. And
Hitting a deer, no joke.
I could have died. I was on my feet. In the front passenger seat.
No joke.
I don't know what it is about November. I was like, I think November wants to kill me. In my life, that's probably the when I'm gonna go, because every time I have a life or death experience, it's in November. Yes.
This season,
Girl, let's
well,
get home safe.
Oh my god.
It's an association, like, with like these seasons. It's like, ending seasons. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of transitions seem to happen in particular. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm so long-winded.
So what stage were you in?
3. Yeah. So, but staging doesn't necessarily mean severity. It's where they find it and in what age of growth. So, I mean, you can have a stage 4 cancer that's not that bad because it's really, 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 really tiny. And a spot that's someplace they can get to. It doesn't mean that it's traveled. It doesn't mean that you're going to die from it, which is a relief. But if you don't know that, you might think, obviously, like grades, the higher they get, the worse that it is. But, it's mostly just how old it is.
Thank God you made it through that. It's just, man, we go through so many trials and tribulations in life,
Yeah.
But your optimism through all of that, like how were you able to maintain that?
Well, I love challenges. So I looked at it like I wanted to challenge myself to gain weight because I was getting skinny, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna at least dedicate my time to my health. And I did that. So once that, because I bought a program, I bought into a training program, and then I did that for 12 weeks. So watching myself get stronger, eating food again that was just like so off limits for so long was part of like re-energizing my body and my brain at the same time, because I guess you wouldn't believe how tired you actually are when you're not nourished properly. So if you're not taking your vitamins, if you're not getting the proper sleep, you're not drinking enough water, like that coupled with some weird ass approach to food is going to fuck you up. So like coming out of that was like, it was revitalizing. So I had to do that. And that was that made me feel good. Like, okay, I'm not actually dying. Whew. I thought I was though. Like you couldn't tell me that all of this wasn't the end.
Right.
So like as I started to gain weight back, then spring came. So the sunshine came back outside. So I'm back outside and I'm doing more things to care for myself. So, spa dates, going on, day trips, whatever, just being my own best friend. And then, my work is often something that gets to keep me moving. So like I just kept working. I might have missed or transferred one gig to somebody in this whole time. So work would always come at the right time. So I always had something to do. So it was mostly that, just realizing that I had life still, and that even if I didn't have it for a long time, I could get the best or the most out of it, with the health that I have. So I should do that. Yeah. And that's what I've been doing.
That's what's up. So shoot,
yes.
taste, explore.
Shoot, taste, explore.
Has that been a formulation from everything that's happened to you? Like from everything was that the motivation to start your book?
Nope.
To record your recipes? To do the I Love Black Men in Real Life?
Maybe more of the latter, right? So like I had conceptualized another book of me and my father's photography, because he was a Brooklyn photographer. So I had this set of images and I went back to the locations.
Does somebody you know? I'm sorry.
My father? Robert Cave. I don't know. It depends on how old you are and how Brooklyn saturated you might be. But he was definitely, into politics and stuff like that. So he knew a lot of people. So I had conceptualized the book back in like 2018 and put it down when I started fighting with my family over information. But I had the ability to create a book. So I started researching, just how to publish one, what book binding looked like, what kind of information I would need to take to somebody if I wanted them to help me. So I just started learning about how to publish books. And then I'm always on top of myself with projects, right? So at the same time I'm doing that, I am doing everyday BK. So I'm running around the city, I'm grabbing, information, I'm meeting people, I'm doing this, doing that, enhancing my skills as a videographer and photographer. So that in itself grew my popularity. People started knowing me and wanting me to be places. So I'm just privy to all of these different locations for anything and everything. And then being a Gemini, I just remember shit. People ask me things and I'll tell them. So now I'm known for giving people information about where they even live, which is strange because I'm like, this is right here. How could you not know this exists? But then that was my gift, and I started recognizing that and leaning into that. So or when COVID started, well, as a photographer, I was doing a lot, but I wasn't satisfied. So I was asking myself, what can I do that I enjoy, so that if I die tomorrow, I could say I've died happily. And so I made a list of things that I like to do, and I was like, I love food. I would love to be a food photographer. And I was like, I like hosting and events and stuff. And I was like, maybe I'll do workshops. And maybe I'll do those workshops in restaurants. And we'll show people how to take pictures of food using natural light with their phones, right? Everybody wants to know how to do that. This was 4 years ago, so everybody wanted to know how to do that. They couldn't at the time for lots of reasons. So I was like, that sounds like a good idea. Develop the workshop. This is where we get the design thing from. Start pitching it to restaurants. They start saying, okay, so we start getting together to host these things. Worked out a plan, sold a ticket, and then the news people was like, yeah, you can't gather 10 people in a room. We don't know what's going on. People is dying. Y'all can't touch each other. No contact. That's when that no contact shit started. March 2020. March 21st even. It was right. So somewhere in there. And so all that happened. I went on live with all of my content instead of just like keeping it to myself. I needed a place to go. So that's more content and material collected. So at the end, or in like 2021, I was like, I think I'm going to put this all in a book because it looks good. Like all of the stuff that I did to market it looked great. I had recipes, the pictures, everything. And I put it in the book. And then I started using my dad's story. So like there was like all these words about him and all this other stuff. So it was a whole different book when it started. But COVID gave me the time. It gave me the like flexibility because we had to focus on just like being alive more than impressing or earning a certain type of income, you know, meeting certain types of goals. Like all that shit had to stop. So I just got to play around. And I made the book, had to do a couple different drafts of it, simplified it a lot because that was what was happening. It was like, it just felt like too much. But then I found a way to keep it clean and offer a lot and made myself happy with the design. And I was like, that's it. I'm publishing this book. Yeah. And that was in 2021. And then I had gotten like 90% finished with all the edits, and the drive fell down and broke.
Damn.
No.
Yeah, you know that pain.
Yeah, damn.
No. Yo, I know that pain of losing footage. That hurts. Like gamers, they have them jokes on the internet, like, you know, people deleting their stuff. Like, it's crazy. Like, what do you feel like the most important part of your creative process has been like?
Forgiveness and flexibility, like taking it easy on myself, like not having a lot of rules about what's good, what's bad. You know, I like to try things out now. Like, well, let me just see how I like that, and if I don't, I could change it.
Yeah, I like that. It's very important to just stay in your square. You know, trying to keep up is like, you know, there's really no such thing as competition. There is no competition because nobody can actually do what you do and how you do it. You know, we are all made unique for a person, so that's very important. It's like, listen, you get it when you get it. It's going to happen when it's going to happen, and you know, as long as I'm content with it, you know.
Yo, you got your special sauce. You got your special sauce. I do. It's like, you know, you can only bring that recipe to the table.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, recognizing that too. You know, understanding that it's okay to be myself and be unique and look different, talk different, act different, all the things. Because I don't know, we only got one life, right?
That's right. It ain't coming no rules. We gotta live it how we know how to live it, how we want to live it, how we feel is best for us to live it. So you just gotta live it. You just gotta live this life.
100%.
Give everybody a insight into what Everyday BK is.
So Everyday BK is a preview of Brooklyn and the quality that exists here. It's a video series that gives you sort of an intimate look at some of the places that you might want to know about in Brooklyn, people that you want to know about doing things in Brooklyn. So that's like first, because without that, I wouldn't have the material for Shoot, Taste, Explore. So Shoot, Taste, Explore is Everyday BK. It's me in a book. It's like the things that I like to do, the places that I like to go, the food that I learned to cook. Some of it I didn't learn to cook. I made it one time and it was amazing. Took a picture of it and it's there now. Inside Shoot, Taste, Explore is a variety. Like culturally, the chefs, they're not, some of them were professional. Some of them weren't professional. All of the meals are makeable, but they're not for the person who doesn't know how to cook. So if you don't know how to fry an egg, I can't help you make lo mein. Okay. So that's how it is, right? Like if you can follow instructions and you've never done it, you're taking a risk. I don't know what to tell you about what's gonna happen. Please don't tell me it is trash because you don't know how to cook.
Right.
But like if you know how to cook, you'll know what to do and you'll know, you know what I'm saying, how to follow the instructions. People who enjoy photography will love it. They'll love the inspiring images, the use of photography in it. The information that helps you improve your own photography is in it. And then lastly, if you appreciate Brooklyn, you'll appreciate the book completely because every photograph was taken in Brooklyn and of Brooklyn. Like there's images in there that just correlate with the food, even though they're not like of the food. So like I have a picture of a Jewish couple in the park before potato latkes because it's like, okay, you're gonna get potato latkes. Here's Grand Army Plaza on the same day that these Jewish people got married, and that's just the layout. So there's Brooklyn, and then I have the guide in the back that tells you places like at least 10 restaurants to go eat, another 6 or 7 to go have a drink, another 5
you got content,
to go get desserts. Yeah, exactly.
Recipes.
If you have an interest in anything and you need anything to support it, like if you have an interest in cooking and you need a variety of fun meals to make because they're all different. Like I have East Indian dishes, I have West Indian dishes, I got American things.
Ooh, West Indian.
I don't have any beef or pork because I don't eat those things or cook those things.
That's right up my alley. What's your favorite West Indian dish?
Oh, it's ackee and saltfish. Ooh. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
I love that.
and callaloo and saltfish.
Love that. Ooh,
Yeah, it's full of
callaloo.
recipes.
Stew
y'all. It's
kingfish
full
is
of
in
all
there.
the stuff that you would love, and we had a very good sandwich today. You know, recipe is in.
Well, speaking of which,
Recipe is in Shoot, Taste, and Explore. Y'all make sure y'all check out that book. Go to Amazon.com. And
It was really
yeah, it was really good. You see, we
There's
tore those
enough
up.
for each of us.
Yes.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
Wait.
We tore these up. And
Cheers.
yes.
Cheers.
It really is good.
Cheers, y'all.
With Gruyere cheese. In the book, it calls for mozzarella, but you can use any other white cheese, like Havarti or mozzarella.
Dope.
It's really good, y'all. And you can eat it cold.
A good snack, little Netflix snack, Netflix and chill snack with your I Love Black Men in Real Life man that you get.
This was a really dope episode, you know. One last question I do want to ask is, are you still living with breast cancer? Yeah.
Well, technically, yes. So I've had a lumpectomy surgery, and I had the radiation in my hip, in 2 places in my spine, and in my neck. That completed all of the cancerous portions of my body.
Okay.
So now I'm on estrogen suppression therapy drugs, which means that I don't have a period. Yay me. It's actually really nice. And because of that, fibroids and shrunk up. And my skin is cleared up. My mood is so even. I'm like chilling. But my memory, what the hell? What'd you ask me?
But your memory is messed up.
So sucks ass. It sucks bad.
You were telling me that you're still sort of living with breast
Yes,
cancer.
thank you. So basically, I took a year's worth just about November. Yeah, right about now is when I started. December will be a full year of having injections for my bones, injections for the cancer cells to stay away, and they just started spacing them out. So it was every month, and then every 3 months. So I'm on the 3 months thing, which means this month I didn't have to go. Next month I may. I can't remember. But it was 3 months from whenever the last one was. So if it's not November, then it's December. But so my body's healing. They, gave me the PET scan, said everything was great. I am having symptoms from the pills that make my joints hurt. So my wrist was hurting bad for a while. My knee is hurting now. But that's like the extent of my discomfort in all of the ways that I could be uncomfortable. That's like it.
Okay, so you feel the medication is actually...
Yeah, it's actually working, or at least allowing my body to heal. And I told myself, I was like, even if this is a panacea, something that I'm supposed to believe is working that's not working, I can't care right now. Because I feel better. I feel better. And thank the Lord for insurance. Because if I didn't have it, then we'd have a different kind of conversation because I don't know how else I would have been able to afford it. You know, they send me the bill even though I ain't got to pay it. And I'd be like, I see why y'all making sure people get these pills. Because if y'all get any part of this on a weekly basis, from how many people? Please, I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, well, they say, you know, the pharmaceutical businesses, you know,
And they can truck me.
it's definitely lucrative, you know. But again, real shouts to you,
Thank you.
for real.
Thank you very
know.
much.
Thank you for all the information, and you know, we just hope that other women just, you know, get some inspiration from
Do the
this.
thing, y'all. Right. One thing I would say is like, don't be so scared not to see what's going on. I didn't want to. Mammograms are stupid and they hurt.
They do.
Opt for a sonogram if you can. It is the same thing. You still might have to do a mammogram, but see if they'll just do a sonogram. Because it will tell them enough that if they need to do more, they can do more. But to start with that, to me, is insane. But don't not do it.
Okay.
You know, it's like that's like not brushing your teeth because you don't want to go to the dentist.
Yeah, get checked.
No, for real. And what would you say would be another important piece of the process that you learned, like that you can recommend to somebody that may be going through it?
Advocate for yourself. You absolutely do know your body, and you get to respect your own autonomy over it. When you tell people no, even if you're wrong and you find out later, it's okay. But if you don't practice that, then you don't do that anywhere else, and you need to do that everywhere.
That's right. That's right. There was something you said earlier where I think somebody recommended their doctor to you. I think that's important. Like, did you feel the doctor was a good doctor? Because you know, getting recommendations is important. Is if you feel like you're not getting the answers you need, then
The one I was referred to, or the one that I left?
the one you referred to.
So I was very mean to her because I was adamant about not being nice to her. Like, I don't care. You're a white coat. I don't trust you, and you need to know that from the door. So I didn't give her a chance to be, you know, received with the kind of like awareness to know what kind of woman she was. So she wasn't really the kind of woman she could be until later when I told her she can chill. Like, all right, I'm giving it to y'all. I'm not dying. I'm good. Like, I just needed to know that for myself, that I wasn't going to be killed by y'all. And then decide whether or not I was going to keep you, you know, because I didn't even know if I wanted to stay with her. But she wanted to be in a good, she's a very smart woman, right? So she's not looking at me, she's looking at me as an individual, but she's also being very clinical. Very much about the pill, very much about the product, kind of, and how it's supposed to work, and making sure that according to what I'm experiencing, it's either not working or is working. They had me on some other stuff that they wound up taking me off of, which I thought was great, because I was like, I don't want all of these different things in me. And it wasn't because I objected, it was because I actually didn't need it. And if I took it, it would create more of an issue than it needed to have. So they saw that too. They were like, okay, you don't need to take that if this is going to happen. We're going to test this, blah, blah, blah. So she was cooperative. She also started to smile and laugh with me. So, you know, it's really about who you are and how you are approaching the situation. I think you can be kind and nice and assertive and not be taken over. You don't have to be a bitch. Like, that was just my personal choice. But you do need to know as much as you can. Like, everybody's bodies may be individual, but there's enough of people that have been through what you've been through for you to have some idea, right? Like, it might not be exactly like the drugs that I'm taking, I researched, and it has different uses for different people's needs. And so people were reporting a variety of different things. Only like one person was just like, it's not that bad. But everybody else has something to say. And something was just like, you know what? I still can't see if any of this is relevant if I don't go through it. So I have to go through it. Even if I was like, I'm going to give it a week, I'm going to give it a month, I'm going to give it, just give it some time to see how it goes before you know for sure. And that's all I had to do. And it very quickly was just like, yeah, you good. Just take the pill. It's one, and it's literally the size of a Tic Tac, smaller than a Tic Tac. So it's like, really, what are you doing? Like, this is less than like a 100th of a freaking point of a something. Like, even if it had the power to kill you, if you touched it, you'd be dead. You ain't got to worry about these pills no more. So don't worry about it. Like, if it's gonna kill you, you don't have to worry about nothing no more. Everybody got to worry about you, but you don't got to worry about shit. So take it and be worry free. Or take it and survive.
Right.
Like, what could happen?
You know, I got one last question, right? So on the last live, me and Tony were discussing if you got 24 hours to live, that song. It was like, you know, those lyrics hit hard.
If you got 24 hours.
24 minutes.
Listen, we giving it 24 hours because, you know, lyrics. You can't add in
Where would you
24
go?
minutes.
What would you do? Who would you screw?
24 hours.
Yes. So,
Do you want the truth? I don't know if I can handle the truth.
Did you just whine?
Yes, because I would be having sex with somebody. Okay? It's bodies.
It's going down.
If I got,
Like,
if I for
you,
sure,
and you.
yeah, I will knock a bitch over. Excuse me. Just 10 minutes.
Hold that.
That's it. I need 10 minutes. I give him right back. Trust me, he'll be right back.
yo, that's real right there.
Yeah, for sure. I would probably go bomb the Trump Tower just for fun. What else might I do?
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Catch me if you can.
Listen,
Right? If it's the summertime, go swim in the lake somewhere, the beach. The
yo,
beach.
that's a good day.
Yeah, I love the beach.
Definitely a good thing. 24 hours to live.
Kiss all my loved ones, you know. Give them some tattoo inspiration. Show them how to get to all of this stuff. You know, it's not much stuff to get to, but you know, show them how to get to everything. Make a video for my family. You know, one of those.
You ain't in my will. One of those videos. You ain't in my will.
Right? Don't be bothering my kids.
You kids love.
Everything they get everything. Don't ask them for nothing.
Yeah, that was a good question. Yeah, 24 hours to live, man. That's really a serious question. Something to think about, you know? Something to think about. We never know when we're going to go.
No, for real. I
That's
mean, like,
the real thing.
really, like, you know, your fight, you should, you know, absolutely what you did, ask all the questions, even if you have to be a bitch sometimes. Like, you
They
want to
understand.
live.
They're used to it too. And a good person is going to let you say what you got to say.
Right.
They were always, everybody was good about receiving me, except for two strange people that was in Methodist. But they wanted so badly to be helpful that I didn't want to trust them. Because it's like, you get paid for this, and maybe you shouldn't have wore red bottom shoes seeing me in. Maybe not. Like, I get it, but you know, when I see your choices, I'm thinking more about you as a person.
Yeah.
So like, if like my breast surgeon lady, she was neutral, you know, calm, but fun story. Fast forward to February 2024, I'm in an art exhibit at the Harlem Fine Art Show, and there's this woman in this red dress, body, you know, hair up, makeup on. I'm like, she looks nice, you know. This man walks over to me with a group of doctors, and he's just like, you need to talk to these people. And I was just like, all right, y'all, who wants to hear about my breast cancer story and how I made my art? You ready for this? I was just like, all right, you see these pictures back here? I made all of these in the hospital. I was laying next to a beast of a woman who called her name Claire. And I got here because I didn't want to listen to my breast surgeon tell me to get radiation and these wonderful black doctors, whatever the case is, you know, to explain how hard-headed I was. But it still got me to the point of being able to create this art in this way that came up for this day in this you know, position. And so the doctor the doctors are standing around like, oh my gosh, that was marvelous. This is so wonderful. I can't believe you. Your story is amazing. Which piece is yours? And so, and I'm telling them, you know, which one do I like? And so I told her which one I like. She's like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. So this lady in this white suit, she's buying the art. She's talking to the other lady. I'm all excited. And so the lady in the red suit is still standing there. And I'm like, why do I know you? And she's like, I know you too, but from where? And I was just like, I don't know. We spent like 3 minutes like this. Where do I know you? How do I know you? Circling each other. Like, what is this? And so I go, Dr. B?
Oh,
You got makeup on? I was like, look at you. You look so pretty. What are you doing here? I was like, I was just talking about you to the strangers. Did you hear me talking about you? She was just like, oh my God, I thought everything sounded familiar, but I didn't. You look so different. And I was like, yeah, I lost 40 pounds. I took, I had braids when she saw me last, and I was 40 pounds heavier. And then, the interaction was not that memorable, honestly, especially if you telling people they got breast cancer all day. So, it was a joyful reunion. And
wow.
It was fun. It was fun. But yeah, she was a good person. She was nice. And they bought my art.
That's dope. Shout out to the support staff and, in the medical field that help y'all deal with these situations because, not everybody does the best of jobs. As you said, you experience some weird people. So, shout out to the ones that are, like your little angels, energy angels.
Yeah, it's very important to be yourself, but don't stand in your own way also, because everybody else is being themselves. So if you give yourself a little bit of grace for being human, having the opinions that you have, but knowing that it was a learning moment and you had to learn something, and doing that, that's life, that's growing, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, don't hold it against yourself that you needed to learn something. Like, so what, you was stubborn, so what, you was wrong. Are you gonna stay that way? Like, it doesn't make sense to stay wrong. Yeah. So it's like, it's okay.
Accountability.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
This is so dope. Thank you again for sharing your story.
Thank you for asking.
Really appreciate it.
Every
day to volunteer. I was just like, I'll talk to y'all.
Wait.
We need a K.
Okay. We throw.
Okay, that's a blood signal. We throwing blood.
I don't want to throw. Don't come for me.
I would love for Black men to tell us what they'd like to hear. Like, sometimes we assume, oh, you're amazing, you're a king, I love you, when they just want to hear, I'm proud of you, or thank you, or, it's okay if you leave the dishes there tonight. Like,
I'll never say that. Let me stop.
But the point is,
I'm
little
joking,
more.
I'm joking. We love y'all.
A little deeper.
And we
definitely,
we want to go that deep as well as you guys do. You got to give us the space to open up as well. We all got to give each other the space to open up. Give each other grace.
Yeah.
We all figuring this out. Let's figure it out together.
That's a very important point.
I appreciate that approach. I do.
It's like that's the part where we've had this huge problem is the divide. Nobody really wants to listen to each other, and that's exactly what we need to start doing.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, God willing that I Love Black Men is helping us show them how much we appreciate them.
Right.
And that, this is taking a step towards, mending. Let's bring it together. Yeah. Shout out to you, Brill.
Yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all check out that I Love Men
which ones
in
you
Real
do?
Life edition.
What's the difference?
On TikTok, on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go
the
to
Visual
Amazon.
Vibe Architect. Yeah, everydaybk.tv is where you can start about everything. So the videos, the photography, the merch, the event URLs, all of that stuff.
Well, bang, there you go. You got one central location to get everything you need.
Everyday
Cave, you already know. We are outside. This is Girl Podcast. I'm ToniSteelz.
I'm your girl Luna.
And I'm Eurila.
Make sure y'all follow at Girl Podcast Official on Instagram. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Make sure you join the conversation. You can follow Eurila. Where they can follow you at?
Everyday BK TV on Instagram or Exploring Eurila.
Yes.
Yes. Plug in immediately.
Yeah.
And as we always say, be good to you.
Yo, be good to you.
Girl.
As she proceeds to give you what you need. ToniSteelz, baby.